All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. All right, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. We are here with Andy Moyen, superfan Andy, who's going to be talking. You know what? It's always better whenever there's something to do with Kiss or an event to talk to someone who actually went and get a first-hand account rather than us pontificating from our sofas far away. I didn't go to New York City for the Dress to Kill tour, but Andy did. So, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there one day at a time. You know how it is.
Yeah, so I'm going to bet that you weren't expecting to be back in New York City anytime soon after Madison Square Garden in December 2023. But here you
Nope.
are, 50th anniversary of the Dress to Kill album. I want to start off with a question which I didn't think to ask you until this moment. Dress to Kill, what does that album mean to you as a fan?
Everything. Because, all right. You want me to explain this? Here we go. So when I was,
do it.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, blah, 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 small kid. And I hate to say it, I actually used to go to church. You know what I mean? Back then, your parents, you made a church and you used to have to like dress up, your little suits and stuff like that. So every Sunday we would do that. And I know when they gave you the bread, because it was Catholic, when they gave you the bread, it was almost over. And I was so excited when it was almost over. And once in a great while, we'd like go to Dunkin' Donuts if we were good, and we would go over my father's parents' house. Maybe it's my grandparents, but it's my father's side, right? And my father's the oldest, like 8 or 9. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we would go over there, and it'd be like, an all afternoon, all night thing. They play cribbage, they watch football games, la la la. It was, what I mean. I was all day and all night, and it was, So, anyways, Wednesday, March 19th, 1975, Dress to Kill comes out, and then every Sunday. So on that Sunday, which was like the 23rd. On that Sunday, I went over there, of course, with my parents and my brother, and la la la, doing all that thing. And my uncle, who was basically, I think he's a couple years older than my brother. My brother's 3 years older than I am. So at the time, I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. So my uncle probably was like 12, maybe 13. I don't know exactly. But he was there, and he had like you go up the stairs, and he had like a loft area where his bedroom was. So he's like, hey, I was going in, he was playing music and stuff, and he basically, when I was upstairs, he says, hey man, you might like this, and he gave me Dress to Kill. And I'm looking at it going, wait a minute, man, you're a kid, you don't like looking at it going, wait a minute, I'm dressed up, they're kind of dressed up, but they're wearing like clown makeup. And my uncle goes, yeah, listen to this though. So, he's got it on. And everybody asked me, even at the poll there, when we were there and on Saturday, were asking me, and I was telling the same story. So from my memory, the first song that I can remember was Rock Bottom, because he had flipped over to side 2. So the first thing I pretty sure that I remember off the top of my head was Rock Bottom, and basically said, here, have the album. So that's my first album, and basically that's how it got started. And basically, to me, that's the album that really saved Kiss, because without Rock and Roll Night put on Dress to Kill / Alive tour, that was the Alive tour, that becomes it, right? That becomes the massive thing that happens. So to me, that's the album that really saved Kiss. So for me, Dress to Kill has something special in my heart. You know what I mean? It always will be. That was my first album. So I was going to go back there anyways this weekend, because it was the 50th anniversary. And I had no idea that they were actually doing any kind of tour thing. And I really didn't even find out that they was going to have some kind of special thing at 1 o'clock. I didn't even find out until like the night before, because me and Kim, I always tell Kim, I'm going early, from the traffic, but it was the Saturday. And believe it or not, it's easier to drive in New York City than it is Boston. At least New York is on a grid. You can go up one street, you can't go down the next street. In Boston area, it's like left, right, everything, and no signs.
Yeah, and Boston has random cinder blocks blocking off roads, don't it?
Yes.
So much for the big dig working.
True. And then some, right? So anyways, so that's why this album means like really a lot to me. And it should really mean a lot to a lot of Kiss fans. And it's really underrated. That's what's the weirdest thing about it. You know what I mean? Very strange how it's underrated album. I don't know. But for me, it's a big time. So that's how it gets started.
No, no, I think it is underrated, and I found that myself. You know, it was only through celebrating its 50th anniversary and digging back into a lot of his history that I started saying, "Wow, you know, this is worth celebrating. This is a real milestone. It's a launching pad for the group." What's your favorite song on Dress to Kill?
Oh my God. Yeah, I hate when they do that.
You're only allowed to pick one, Andy.
No, that's not true. I don't know. I really don't know. I just love the groove. You know what it is? I think I love about it because it's, I don't know what you call, what do they maybe say polished compared to the first two albums? It's
Hmm.
more polished.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just because you can hear everybody sing and everybody's instrument. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've never been a
yeah.
professional, but you can hear every single they talk, singing, every instrument, everything. I don't know. It's just got that groove to it. I just love the whole thing. I just can't pick one song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah, no, I agree with you. There's really good separation between the instrumentation and, you know, all the elements on that. They did a great job mixing it. It's very clear. It's a great album to listen to. It's a good party album. It's very upbeat and, you know, pretty happy. You know, even something like She, which is a little slower, still a happy song. So you didn't find out about anything that was going on until the day before, which raises another great question before we get going talking about the tour, is where are you getting your Kiss news this day? Kiss Online's been a little bit of a mess during you know, well, since December 2023. But where do you get your Kiss news, and how did you find out about this at the last minute?
Well, it's a 50th anniversary. Everybody spreads everything around. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's the next thing?" The 50th anniversary, and of course, the Asylum stuff just came out, right? So
Mhm.
they got to be doing. If you're doing something for Asylum, you got to be doing something for Dress to Kill. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. We're gonna have this thing in this September. You said about Asylum, and I love Asylum, so that's a whole different story right now. But anyways, um, I knew they would kind of do. They had to do something. I would hope, and I was going there anyways. It was a weekend. It's a Saturday. I'm like, Kim, can we please go? This means a lot to me. This is the thing. We'll go here at a couple spots that I never got a chance to go to because, as I've been telling people for years, that I have spots like his spots that people probably don't even care about. I mean, really don't care about. But I just think it's part of the history part of it. And I have a friend named Greg. I don't know. Greg likes to use his last name, but um, we've been kind of going at it for years now and doing maps. And I started mapping things out, going from street to street to street to try to hit as many as possible in ways. But, people have to understand New York is a pretty big state in a way that like stuff is so spread out. You have from like, I say from Madison Square Garden going up, and then you have from the Dress to Kill spot going down. And then, of course, you got wide out like, Erica Mausoleum is and all that other stuff is way upstate New York. And then, of course, there's the whole Ace Frehley section, which I have a huge Ace Frehley thing that I've been wanting to get to a couple of years before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and then everything else hit. Kim and I, and things are just that. So hopefully I can get back on track because one of these weekends I want to go back to New York, but I'm talking like the rough areas. And I was talking to some people Saturday about, because some people live around somewhere on there and they're like, Andy, you really shouldn't go to some of these places. And I'm like, you know what, man, I'm going to go anyways. I don't really care. you know,
Yeah, we want to do the Bronx thing, you know, for the ace spots because
that's big time for me.
that that, that would be so. He did it a few years ago for a
no,
magazine feature, but we want to do it again. You
yeah.
know, now that we know a lot more of the areas, you know, where he and his bands were playing and the Ducky Boys were going down, and you know, all those stories from those streets. It
Yeah,
would
I
just be
know.
so much fun.
Believe it or not, I know where the park is he hung out from Hard Times to Song. I know where the Ducky Boys, where they said they had to hang from the bridge to go across. I know where
Yeah.
that is. They said, "Oh, we don't want to get caught by the police." I know where that police station is. Me and Greg have so many things, and Greg doesn't really go to them as much. He has a lot of big, huge lists and stuff. We have lists, But I actually really want to go. So we'll see how that works out. I want to try
So
to get there.
I'm gonna say it again. Who is gonna put New York into a book?
Not
A
me.
a international travel guide to Kiss in New York City. Come on, New Yorkers. This has got to be from you.
Yeah.
It can't be some outsider doing it.
I
So
that's the weird.
I just wish someone would.
That's the weirdest thing about it. I'm from Massachusetts, and I know probably more than some people in New York do. It's kind of weird in a way. And Greg and I have been debating. We even debated because talking to you today about, are we going to actually put online on Facebook like a group saying New York State kiss spots? Where are we going to put up addresses and pictures and stuff? And we're still kind of in debate. He kind of does want to do it and doesn't want to do it because he done a lot of hard work, and then he's like, "We're just going to release it." But I'm like, dude, you know what? At this point, I kind of like don't care in a way, because what happens if we're not here anymore? This is the other thing too. People are getting older and this and that stuff. So what happens if something happens and we're not here anymore? It's stuff might
We're losing the
disappear.
stories. I mean, look at Vinny Gonzalez passing away.
Yeah.
You've lost some great stories
Oh my
there.
God. Yeah.
That haven't been written down. You've lost some really bad jokes as well. God bless him. So that'd be something great for the new Kiss Online, to be interested in some of the stuff that you and Greg have done, codifying these places and putting it together as something, as a resource to stand for time and for all other fans. Imagine being able to download a PDF map, a nice official Kiss one from Kiss Online that takes you through all the sites, including not just like the tour was a really cool thing that they put together, but it only hits the real high points. You're not going to be going to places like where Peter Criss bought 200, drumsticks in 1973, or where Ace used to buy his guitar picks, or any
Or
of those sorts of
basically,
places.
where the what they call it, the pleasure pleasure trust. We literally walked by it on the tour, and I went back with Kim, and I'm like, this used to be the pleasure trust. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, this is where they bought like costume pieces from.
That was their bond. That was all the bondage black leather stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I was excited. So it was just, I don't know, it was just a fun day. You know what I mean? That in the weather was, we're up and down because the weather's been kind of rocky here. It is March, April, that kind of crap. So it's been raining off and on. It's been cold. It's been blah, blah, blah. So, but Saturday ended up being real nice. We got lucky, man. Very, very lucky to be very good. So anyways, we left here around 6:00. We got into New York around 9:30. I parked in one of the garages just around the corner from the Dress to Kill spot, so it was perfect. And now I think we were like the third person here. Lewis and Ferrero were there, and it was cool to see some people that we hadn't seen in a while from either the Kiss cruises or just they're in town or whatever like that. So it was cool to see some people hanging out. And then there was confusion because people were calling the record store that was supposed to be the pop-up, which was like 15 or 20 minutes down. You know what I mean? So people couldn't figure out what time it opened. So there was confusion about that. So people are like, do we stay here at the pole, or do we you go down to the store and hang out? What's going to be at the store? Because nobody knew what was going to be at the pop-up store at the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it got confusion a little bit because some people say, oh, then they said it was not 10, 11, 12, or 1. So there was a confusion there a little bit about that. And then finally, some people came up around 1:00 at the poll and said, the store's open. They only have 3 shirts. That's it. So, and they were giving away, I guess, because by the time Kim and I got down here, it was late. It was like 6:00 at night because we were roaming around, and we wanted to get, we were just looking at stuff. I wanted to look around anyways, and they had the shirts. So I don't know. Do you want me to do that first or later? So it's up to you.
Yeah, no, you show the shirt. We're gonna show the shirts in. I'm gonna punch it all in,
All right.
so people can see what the shirts were on offer. And you might as well show yours off.
All right. Well, this is one of the shirts that were down at the store. One of our friends, she wanted one, so it was like a Dress to Kill, but it was like they had the like in pink.
That looks good.
It does look good. They were like they're $25, and they do have like the Kiss, the tag on the shirt, that kind of tag,
Yeah.
like painted on or whatever you want to call it. So $25, not bad. There's nothing on the back. So this is the one that I actually kind of liked at the end. I really wanted to kind of get, and then of course it was gone. That was the one that was like it must have been the favorite. Was this one the
Yeah,
more?
that looks cool as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing on the back. Same thing. It's got the print, and basically the third one was just like the first app. Just like the album cover itself. So it was just
Mhm.
basically like that, the basic thing. So that then
You know
that
that one that you like, that one that you like would actually look really cool in like glow in the dark.
yeah, actually that would. Hey, there you go, Pop House. There you go.
Ideas are free here.
It's a free. So they would I guess some people were getting if you were the first X amount of people, they were giving away hats. And when I got there, we got there. They're like, because they had the shirts downstairs, and then they had the shirts upstairs. They had them hanging, and I was like, oh, maybe they left one up on hanging. And I asked them, and all they did is had was like small and medium left. So they had a bunch of them, small and mediums left. And I was like, bummer. And then the girl looked on the counter. She goes, "Oh, we got one hat left." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "Hey, you want the hat?" So they were giving away like looks like the shout out loud hat. And I guess they
Oh,
gave
nice.
yeah, and I guess they gave away some scarves. Somebody said they got a creature scarf and all that. So I guess they gave away some stuff if you bought the t-shirts. And if I knew that if I had to go down that shop early, I would have went down the shop and bought a bunch of like extra larges, man, and just basically reached out to personal friends and said, "Hey, you want them?" and not charge you because I understand people like before they even walking out of the store, like charging like $250. I guess they're online and stuff.
Come on, it's New York.
I
You know,
know.
the Jawas are coming in off the street. They're
Uh,
gonna do that in any city, not
uh,
just on you, New York. I'm not throwing any stones here.
it-
But it was like that in for the Madison Square Garden show. So um, hilarious.
well,
There you go. But hey,
yeah.
they were giving out free shit. So can anyone complain?
No, well, those weren't free. Those are like $25. And then of course they said I had saw a post like the night before, and Keith LaRue posted 1 o'clock at the poll, be there. You can get a free shirt. And I was like, really? So I texted him, sent him a message going, really, 1 o'clock? I'm gonna be there like early in the morning. Can't just start this at like 9 or 10? You know what I mean? Because I want to hit like places. Bang, 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 bang. And he says, nope, you have to be there at 1 o'clock. So we just like I got there, and poor Kim, and I mean Kim loves Kiss, man, and she loves the music and all this. But some of the times she's like, "You're nuts," and I'm like, we were talking to people that were hanging around, and in the subway it was right there, and it was shut down. That section to go down those stairs, up and down those stairs, was shut down for a long time. And now it's
Yeah.
open, and now you got people hanging around, and people are trying to come up and down the stairs, and they're like, "What the frig is going on? Why are these people hanging around?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is where Kiss gets weird. This is where Kiss fans get weird. We're literally standing around a pole, and we're
Well,
having to."
were you cleaning it this time?
I did a little bit, but it looks like they painted it and they chiseled everything off, and they actually repainted it. And now the debate is that the original pole? And I'm thinking to myself,
Does it
no
does it
way.
matter? It's still the street corner. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Everyone is really lucky that the frickin' scaffolding is down.
Yes,
Think of
yes.
how bad and how long that's been. There's probably going to be new scaffolding up. And there's still a coffee shop right on that corner as well for while you wait. So
Yeah,
it's not all bad.
yeah.
It was nice to be able to see the scaffolding gone. Last couple of times I've been in the city, it was blocked. It was a real
But
pain to try and Photoshop people out.
I think like 4 or 5 years of stupid scaffolding. I mean, it's been almost right against the pole. I mean,
Yeah,
and they had dug out the sidewalk. Like if you look at the pole straight where they had the photo to the left, they had the whole sidewalk and everything dug out. They were doing that over too at the same time, and of course they chiseled out for handicapped. They made the curves that so they be
access
handicapped.
ramps. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that stuff. So for, for me saying it's original Paul, I very much doubt it because they put like giant. There's a police thing up on way up top now on it with cameras and stuff, all that kind of stuff. So and you know there should be something dedicated to saying that this is a Kiss
It
something.
would get stolen. It would get stolen. unless it was etched into the concrete itself. Come on, you know Kiss fans. Well, you
Well,
are one of them.
well,
It would disappear rapidly.
yeah. Well, I guess there were a couple of guys dressed up. There was one as dressed up as a Gene, and one as dressed up as an Ace. And they was saying, the Gene guy was saying, there's some things for other like artists, like they were naming them off, like pop artists and rap artists that have something special at wherever their street name and this and that, and it's way up high, so nobody can get to it. So it doesn't make any sense why these pop artists and rap artists and all this stuff are getting things, but Kiss from the United States in New York
Well, I
City.
can't remember. One of them got voted down by the neighborhood. They wanted to do something in one of the areas. I can't remember if it was the Dress to Kill corner or maybe it was the loft. I just don't remember from December.
Yeah.
That it was voted on by the local community, and the community were like, hell no, we don't want any more Kiss fans coming down here.
Oh, Jesus. It's probably the loft of all things, It's people there.
Gentrification affects everything. I think those people need to listen to a little bit more rock and roll all night and party every day. They need that they need the electric circus in their souls. All right, let's go back to the corner.
Yep.
Things kick off there. What happened first when things started at 1:00, and what did you do until 1? Because you guys went off, did you?
No, we kind of hung around, and I was explaining to some people like that if you go down the stairs, nobody knew that I know of for years until me and Greg popped it, and I actually went down and showed everybody on a video a couple of years ago when we went to see the Kiss in New York. Is that right there, the Dress to Kill spot? If like I said, the subway, you go down because for a long time, it was blocked off. Like you weren't supposed to go down here. And basically, I went over the things and I went down. I didn't give a shit because I knew this is the spot. So if you go down those stairs and right to the right, that's where the phone booth was. The aka Superman pose is going into the booth when they were dressed in their suits. That's where it is. And people are like, you got to be kidding me. So, you should explain that to people. So anyways, Keith and company showed up a little bit early. And so, of course, there was people started crowding in a little bit more. And then they started lining everybody up to try, were you here? You had to take a photo and post it up. Most people did it on Facebook, and you did hashtag Dress to Kill 50. And you said with Keith or, with Keith, so they would see it. And then you showed him that. And then they had shirts. They gave out free shirts. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then Keith saw me and he's like, hey, Andy, man, but you have to do this. And I said, do what? He goes, we want, Pop House wants pictures. So they wanted to retake pictures of you and who you're with at the poll again. And Keith would take the pictures. But you had to sign a waiver. You had to sign a waiver paper to be able to take your thing. So that's even more proof that Pop House owns the stuff. So the people going, Gene and Paul, but we know it's Pop House that owns the stuff. So we had to sign a waiver paper so Keith could take a picture of us at the poll again, and then you would get a shirt. And this shirt is like it's black, but it's off black kind of thing. And this is badass. All right. For a giveaway T-shirt, this giveaway T-shirt's way better than the ones that were down at the thing. So it's black, but it's almost like a grayish black, but it actually says, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And this is the front. This is what's bad. This is awesome. Kiss Dress to Kill, at the 23rd 8th Ave, New York, and then it has the album on the back.
Yep.
And it has the tag.
That's very cool.
But it's got a different tag on it. It's got like it's not like like the, I don't know, whatever, the tags for the other. It's actually got like a real tag. You know what I mean? The real sewed on tag. And you actually can see the sew lines on the back of it. I mean, this shirt is really freaking cool. You know what I mean?
That's good quality.
Oh,
and what's very cool to me is signing the releases for use of photographs.
Yep.
Is good business. That's attention to detail, that they are making sure that they have permission to use your photos promotionally in any way that they want. And I haven't seen the waiver, so
yeah,
it just seems that there's a lot more attention to those sorts of details going on. So kudos to them. Also, kudos to the organization for getting custom T-shirts made up for this event for giveaways, and 3 Dress to Kill celebration shirts being available. I haven't checked to see if those were previously available online on the store, but that's excellent. How can fans complain at nothing happening now when this is happening? Because you are obviously impressed and you're a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that these special shirts they do not sell online. I hope this was you had to beat it. I hope this is one of those things. The other ones, man, I think they could or should sell those online because those have the other thing. But I'm hoping the ones that you had to actually be there are the only. And supposedly they were only supposed to be 75, and they were gone. There was enough
Yeah.
people there gone. And they also, I didn't even know about this either until I was like hanging around that they gave away a pick too. So they gave a pick away. I'm trying
Of course they did. You got to have a guitar pick. That's cool. Is that one that they gave out, or is that one that you had?
Nope, this is the one they gave out.
That's excellent. I mean, those are just cool little knickknacks. Who doesn't like giving away guitar picks? Podcasts do that.
And if
The websites do that, and it's
Yeah.
even nicer when they're from an official event.
Yeah, and if I had time, and if I had known that this was coming, I wish I was kind of told a little bit ahead of time. I actually probably would have made pins that had like Dress to Kill on the date and everything else on it. I would have been passing them out for suckers for free too, just for the fun of it, Then they hit me when I got home. I'm like, damn it.
Hey, but you know what? There's much less hassle not having to hand stuff out at Kiss events, isn't there? To be just on the receiving end. You've given tons of pins and stickers out. I've done it. It's so much nicer when someone hands you one. It says, "Here you go, Andy. Enjoy."
Yeah, it's true. But it's still fun to toss them out, Especially with like I said, there was only X amount of people. There wasn't like thousands of people there. I like I said, there's probably like 75 people there. So. And then that took a while because you could think about it, giving out the shirts, signing off on the waiver papers, taking the photos, retaking the photos, that thing, and then they took a big giant group shot. So they took a big giant group shot, and I'm like, you know what? I'm getting on my knees next to Kim because they're always like, oh, tall people in the back, small ones in the front, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm getting on my knees. I'll get on my knees this time. You know what I mean? Because I'm never next to her in photos when they take those huge group photos. So that was fun, And then, after it took a little bit of while for that to get started, and then they wanted to start the tour. So they wanted to start the tour right there at the pole, of course. And then they had the thing streaming online, which was a pain. I'll admit it. And everybody else hanging around. A lot of people had left too. A lot of people had got their shirts or whatever, and they just split. So there was probably like, I'm going to say like 25 or 30 people that actually hung around that started really to do this. And they were like, you can do the audio, listen to the audio, Gene Paul and this and that and whatever. But it was very hard to hear unless you wanted to listen.
With cars going by, walking down the streets.
You're right there at the corner, people trying to get by you, through you, beeping noises, all that stuff. And it was very hard to hear it. So at one point, the guy that was dressed up as Gene was just reading it to everybody out loud.
Nice.
So the first thing they did, they actually, which, when I had said, down the stairs.
Hold on. Let me go back 1 second. Have you listened to the full audio tour now since you've been home?
No, because I got home, I got tired. That didn't work. But I will.
Okay. Yeah, please do, because again, I said it on the podcast the other day, and it doesn't hurt to, congratulate people over and over for something well done, because we're talking about it again here. It's very well done. And if you're just tuning in for this episode, go listen to it. It's worth checking out.
Oh, I just haven't had time by the time we got home, because I'll explain that after. Anyway, so the tour started. By the time the tour got started, you're almost talking another hour into it. So it's almost 2:00. So they were kind of like, they were talking about who's going to do the tour a little bit. And Keith and some of the company said they were going to go back down to the record store, to watch that and check that out and see who's going to show up at that point. And this and that. So a couple of the guys and stuff went down that way. So Russell was doing the tour. And the first thing we did was we went down the stairs, because like I said, I didn't know where we were going. Actually, I had no clue. I just thought that nobody knew. I didn't think we were going down the stairs so we went down the stairs and they talked about this is where the photo was. So I knew it was legit. So now they're talking about this is the phone booth, aka Superman pose going in. So and I never knew where the newspaper ones, but I swear it has to be there. All those photos are taken there. So I would imagine inside the gates, everything's changed since then. You got to pay to get in and all that, and it would take forever to try to find it. So I swear that those pictures have got to be somewhere right around that same section. So that's what we did. So the next thing is that they wanted to go. I thought they were going to go down the street towards the shop, which was about 15 to 20-minute walk, but they went the other way across the street to go to what do you call it? Jesus, I'm gonna lose my brains here. So
The
hopefully
loft?
the loft. Thank you. So we took the journey down to the loft, down that way, and of course, if you go to the loft now, you can't get in the loft. Not only the last time I went to the loft before this is that the door, actually you could open the door, and of course it's like a brick going down a brick alleyway. When I went, there's a guy sitting there. They had a security guy because people were literally, Kiss fans were trying to get in, trying to get in, and they were chiseling the bricks
They're
off the
taking the
walls.
bricks.
They were literally people, believe it or not. The security guy was saying people were actually chiseling pieces of, off the wall. So, and I said, no problem. I told the guy last time there was no, whatever. So now when you get there, there's actually legit lock. You have to know it's like a combination thing now. So you have to know the numbers to get in to the loft. So, this is where the loft is. You take a picture near the doorway and that's it. So that's how that went. So the next spot we went to was basically, it's across the street. There's a park.
Yep.
There's a mini
Madison Square Park.
Yep. There's a mini park right there. And there are like many photos that are taken there, but they're hard to match up because everything's changed since all the years. But if you look right across, if you go right across, if anybody ever goes there, right across, there's the monument right there. Now there's a real old picture. It's taking a little bit sideways. And I think I posted a picture of me, but I'm more, I'm in front of it, the Mario, because they have a fence in front of it, a fence, there's like flowers and everything. But Kiss basically sat on a rock kind of sideways and they took the photo. So the photo that I had Kim take of me is basically sitting in front of it because you can see the loft behind you across the street. So that's why I kind of wanted that taken. So that's where we went. And then we kind of hanging around, this and that. And then they had to trudge back. So we started walking back after about 10, 15 minutes of that. And we went back to, where do we go next? You have the list.
Oh, hey, you're still here, watching or listening. Why don't you hit that subscribe button or click the like one? And if you want even more, click on the join button on YouTube. Thanks for your support. You went to 14th Street Subway Station, which is
yes,
exits.
Yes.
Phone booth photo, right?
Yes. So
your nemesis.
Yes, the nemesis finally. So we had to walk all the way back, because you get, what I mean? You had to kind of, so we walked all the way back. We got to the 14th Street. That's the thing. So if you people have seen the photo of Kiss coming out in the Hotter Than Hell outfits, that's where they're coming up. That's where that photo is taking. And for those that get confused which one, because there are a couple different exits and entrance, you behind there, when you look at the new thing where it says 14th Street, it actually says ACE, ACE. So you can't miss it, which is pretty funny, ironic at the same
Follow
time.
The ace.
Yeah. Now, for years, I had been looking for the Superman going out the phone booth, them dressed up. It was killing me. And I knew it was somewhere, but I knew it was down there somewhere. And it's like a catacombs. We go down there. Like I said, there's 4 ways in and out, plus there's some other things. They have gates down there. So we're looking around. I'm looking around. And then you turn around coming back upstairs. I look and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Not only, I'm like, because I was looking for that little piece of wall, because when you go down the stairs, I knew it had to be on the right-hand side because there's a little bit of wall in the phone booth right there on the right. So it couldn't have been on the left. It had to be somewhere on the right-hand side. And what happens? I look, me and Mike. Mike was with me. And I'm like, Mike, because Mike goes, Andy, you find it? And I go, man, I know it's down here. I know it's down here. We turn around and look. There it is. There's the red. The red from the phone booth that leaked into the, those old subway plastic or whatever tiles, because they never fix those or change those. The red phone booth is there. Like the redness from the phone booth is there. And I'm like, oh my God, finally. So that is the spot. So I know I had posted photos of pictures of there. And I'm like, thank you, finally, yay. So that's the
That's
spot. So
hilarious. I mean, I know that had been bothering you for years on the tours that you've done. That one spot that you couldn't locate,
yeah,
and here you go.
yeah,
Thanks, Russell.
yeah, yeah. And it's a crazy. But they didn't know. They didn't know. They Russell and the rest of the crew who has ever left, because there were people bailing out as we were moving on. But Russell
Mhm.
and the rest didn't know until I mentioned. I'm like, downstairs, right to the right is the phone booth, the one Superman going out. And everybody's like, what? I'm like, the phone booth, man. It's the pictures right there. So they all went downstairs to take photos. And then I went back upstairs. And then at that point, I guess Russell and all them decided to take the train. I don't know where they went. They were going somewhere.
Academy of Music. Yeah, Academy of Music was next on the itinerary for the tour, so they were probably heading over there, and I have no idea where that is.
But they also said that I heard somebody said they were going to go to MSG, and I'm like, that's way up now. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I looked at Kim. I'm like, you know what, Kim, I'm good. Let's. There are some spots that I didn't hit last time we were down here. Can I go to them? Can we go to them? Walk around. We'll go get some dinner or stuff wherever you want to stop. Blah blah blah. And she's like, yep, okay, let's do it. So next, it was just Kim and I. You know what? And it
Yeah.
was and it was fun and relaxing at the same time, because we went back. Like I said, I went by the Pleasure Trust place where they got this stuff. We went to Bleecker Street where they played for $1.
Yep. No, that when you posted photos of that, I thought that was very cool. That was where they played flat on the floor. That was like a workshop, and they played with Wayne County. I think Bratz did a show with them there. They did 2 gigs at Bleecker Street. So
Yeah,
that's freaking cool. I
yeah,
mean, that's really kind of central to the whole New York glam scene of '73.
yeah. And
Very neat.
you cannot get in. It's got the same thing. There's a door on it. It's got a special
Mhm.
a lock on it, thing on it. And I think it's all people's apartments now. You know what I mean? you know. So
Yeah.
and then we had some lunch. We had some lunch and stuff. And then where else did I go? Oh, we went to the old Fillmore. We went by the old Fillmore where bands played. That's a real famous place in New York. Aces played
Yep.
there. It's
The Village East,
yeah,
as it was known in '74 when Kiss did the press conference, coming out show,
yeah,
February '74 or
it-
Jan. I can't remember.
yeah. I posted a picture of that, but of course you can see it's all. I just pointed to the address, but you can see it's all graffitied out and there's nothing there. It's just look like an abandoned building now. It's too bad.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
it's what means stuff to us for what happened there is just real estate to someone else.
Yeah, and they probably don't know either. And then after that point, we went and got some lunch, or AK lunch/dinner, and then we had to take the trek back up, which was from down there to where we were at the point where, because I told Kim, I'm like, oh, maybe we'll go to like the 9/11 thing because she hadn't seen it. But where we were at the base at the Bleecker, kind of down there, I go, hon, it's like another 40-minute walk, 40 minutes down, and then 40 minutes from that point to where we are at the Bleecker, and then another 35 minutes from the Bleecker back to the Dress to Kill point where we parked. So
That's
I'm
a
like,
lot of walking.
yeah, it is a lot. I'm telling everybody, I'm telling you, if you ever decide to do any of these Kiss walk things, I'm telling you, if you lived in New York or something, it would take you a couple months, to really walk them, go slow through them, go through them. There's a lot of places besides the well-known famous ones. So if you like the odd stuff, the little odd stuff, it does a lot of walking. You know,
Yeah.
so you have to really split it up a lot. So we decided after we had the lunch and stuff like that at dinner, and we decided to just stroll back. And then at one point we went back to the car. We had some waters in the car and stuff like that. And by then I think it was like 7 o'clock or so. And I said, hon, what do you want to do? Because I said, if I start going up towards MSG, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to just keep going and going and going and going. And then literally where we were parked, they said that it was supposed to be like a 24-hour thing, but they said they were closing at midnight, which I thought was weird. I don't know what was going on, or the guy gave me the wrong info or something, but we both decided, you know what, let's just go home. We're good. I had a great day. It's a long day. We're up super early. we had a relaxed, good time, because even at one point when Russell and Keith were there, they were like, "Hey, Andy, you want to do the tour?" And I looked at Kim and I said, "No." And Kim looked at me. She's like, "Oh my God, you actually said no?" And I said, you know what? I'm here to be, I don't know, the tourist. You know what I mean?
You could have been a temporary Pop House Pied Piper, Andy.
I know. Anyway, I'm fine. Maybe another time, maybe another time, if they really want to do something super, super special, a weekend, like, I mean, a full weekend. I'm talking from Friday early morning to like Sunday afternoon or something, something really long.
It won't be a walking tour. It'll be a Kiss Army marching tour. So you'll all be marching in the Kiss Army.
And trust me, I did 2 days of it when Kiss played, a couple of years ago in MSG, and there were a bunch of people. And by the time I got done, that I'd split it up 2 different tours, day 1 and day 2. And I'm telling you, by the time I got done, there were only like 4 or 5 people left, and they were their legs. Even everybody was like so tired and killing it. And I'm like, you got to walk all the way back, So there's a lot of walking. It's not like I said again. There are some stuff that are very close, and there is some really cool stuff that is very far away or old. You know what I mean? So
let me tell you about the 3 chapters in the walking tour that you missed. You missed the Academy of Music. You missed the Electric Lady Studios.
I went there. I went there.
Yep. And the final chapter is SI rehearsals, which is they rehearsed there for so many things over the decades. There's some great footage. I don't know if it circulates actually. Them getting those black and white cookies during the unplugged rehearsals. They went out on the streets, went down to the bakery, and then there was another one where those cookies arrived, and yeah, they like their cookies, that band. And then Beacon Theater obviously was the other part of that that whole thing. So do check when you do have time. Obviously we all work. Do check out that tour. I'm sure someone's already ripped it and put it up on YouTube, but it's also nice just to look at it on the phone app with all the little extra elements that they put in, photos, and it's got some production value. It's very well put together.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you want to see and want to do. I mean, if you want to be like, yeah, I want to go to that Zelda theater. There's a lot of photos from the Zelda. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. The theater, I'm talking about, the Zelda. That theater way up. That's way up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
how deep in the weeds do you want to do, and how much can your calves take? Because walking is one thing. Walking in the city is a contact sport.
I didn't think it was that bad. We had to go. Spring break, there were a lot of college kids out. Every bar is like over extreme packed. We're lucky Kim actually turned her head and said, "Look, there was like this little quaint place, and it was cool." You know what I mean? We wanted to, at first you wanted to go, where Paul Stanley did his matzo ball soup, but that's way up there. You know where that is. We took you
we
there.
Had lunch there, didn't we?
Yeah. But that's way far up. I'm like, hon, you really want to go there? And she was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Again, you need to you need days, weeks, months to really spread it out.
And you really don't want to try and pack it all into one day or one weekend.
I tried.
Because I think one of the parts of it is, if you're in New York City, you got to also enjoy it, and be able to just do tangents and diversions, or go get a slice. If you're in the city and every time I've been in New York City since going back to America, I've never had a slice in the city.
Oh, really? There's a pizza joint every 5 feet, and
I know, but
I've
just never.
Pizza New York. I'm sorry. Pizza New York pizza sucks. Point blank. I don't like that big mud pie crap. Come on. It's like it's not even cooked. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So you guys got out of there.
Yeah, we left at like 7:00. We got home about 11. I mean, and we get the dogs, I mean? So think about that. You're up, so you go to work all week, you get up early in the morning, feed the dogs, do all that dog stuff, leave about 6:00 in the morning, get to New York at 9:30, do all that tour stuff, walk around all that, get back in the car, drive home 3.5 hours, and, home by 11. And, the next day I'm kind of resting to get ready to go back to work on Monday. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, I'm
it's
glad you did.
best.
I'm glad you did, and I'm glad we're able to get a firsthand account of the event for the podcast. Because again, like I said at the beginning, it's important to talk to people who actually went to that. You've got no bias, you've got no agenda. You're just going to tell it how it is, and that's what people want to hear. They want to hear just the truth.
Yeah, I try not to sugarcoat things. You know what I mean? It's like, why do it? That's why I said I've told you a million times, and I love the other guys on the podcast, on FAQ podcast and stuff like that. And so some people are like, oh, do you have problems with the other guys? How come you're not on with the other guys, or they're not on you? It has nothing to do with that. I just told Julian before that I like to be. If I go to an event, if he wants to do a podcast, I'll do the podcast because I was there. You know what I mean? I don't mind hearing other people's versions of stuff, but I just I want to, like I said, if I was there, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's cool that way, because there are things that I'm never gonna be able to go to. I ain't going to Vegas. No, thank you. But
You say that now.
no, 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 I am not going. Nope, 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 nope. We're not going to Vegas. I would rather go. Me personally, would rather go to Cadillac, Michigan for the 50th. I've seen posts about that. I'm more interested in
Yeah,
that.
no, it's starting to build. We're going to have to do a better job of keeping track of that as well.
Yeah.
That's a very exciting thing, and I think outside of the corporate side of things, going back to what the Kiss Army was when Bill Starkey put it together, was very much fan oriented, not business oriented. And I know once it became the official fan club and became all commercial, that really changed the dynamic. It's a necessity; it happens, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm just saying that the original grassroots Kiss Army is a feeling that's shouldn't be ancient history. We should still be able to feel a part of something without having a price tag attached to everything.
Yeah, and as I think Cadillac's big too is not only that, it's it's part of the Dress to Kill / Alive thing, and
Mhm.
so the people, they say they're gonna have an alumni thing, and those people are getting older too. They're gonna be in their 70s. You know what I mean? And so the only thing that stinks, man, I was already looking into that, is that place is a pain to get to from the East Coast over there.
Mhm.
Detroit. You have to fly from. If you had to fly in Detroit, it's probably like almost a 4-hour drive. There's Lansing, Michigan, and that's another 2 hours and 15-minute drive from there. So I told Kim, I'm like, man, that would be like another big thing. I never been there. Like to see the monument and love to do the walking tour. I love to see some of the alumni people stuff, that kind of thing, man. That's what's intrigues. That's my thing now. I mean, granted, I collected a lot of stuff through the years, stuff like that, but now I'm more into like being there, seeing some of the history that I never saw before you're not able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, because
Yeah, moments and memories. And those guys at Cadillac High School, they would have been the class of 76. Those who were there in October 75.
yeah,
Those people graduating 76, that'll be their 50th anniversary, their
yeah,
high school of graduation. I know I missed my 30th. That didn't mean squat to me.
no,
Um, but 50 for those who are still around, and I know I think it was the cheerleader in the photo passed on, or one of the notable gals from one of the photos. Again, you're getting to 50 years after high school graduation. These moments now mean more and more, and for me as a fan, where I'm at, it's moments and memories and people,
yep.
rather than the buy-ins, the expensive things. Those mean much less because they're just things. Memories, again, you can't put a price on a memory.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's like memories. Like I said, get the Dress to Kill shirt and the pick. It's a memory, but I was there. You know what I mean? That's a whole different ball game. It's not like something that.
Even better that it was free.
Yeah, true. I got something for free. I didn't have to pay for something. But I mean, it's just, yeah. Again, it's now it's turning into more of the memory things. Yeah, it's more of a memory thing now, and just having some fun with it. Kind of letting go. And again, people are getting older, and fans. Hate to say it, some fans my age, our age, your age, younger, have been passing away lately in the last couple of years or so, and it's kind of scary, man. You start thinking about this stuff. Very scary that you know, just scary. That's all I want to say, because I don't want to get too deep into that kind of stuff. But it's scary, man. I want to see some stuff and do some stuff before you're not physically able to, or maybe or not, or when you know what I mean. So yeah. So that would be nice to get off the list. I don't want to say bucket list, but I just want to say a cool list. You know.
Rent an RV and drive to Cadillac.
No, I'd probably just fly in, but it's just you know, it is what it is. We'll see. I would love that. That would be my mission. Cadillac, no Vegas. No,
Any last thoughts before we end?
It was great to see everybody who showed up. It was awesome. Thank you, Keith, for AKA Pop House too, for the free shirt and the free pick. Again, man, it was just fun to see stuff. And I hope they do more of this stuff, you know, because just think about it. Next year will be 76. It will be 50 years for Destroyer. Will they do New York City Destroyer? You know, stuff like that.
You know what? It's probably too late in the day for planning for May the 16th, May the 17th, Kobo. You know, Kobo's not even there, I don't think, anymore.
Nope.
You know, where's Mark when you need him?
Yeah.
Is Kobo still there?
Nope.
Then comes June the 21st for Cleveland Music Hall. Is that still there? That's show number 2. Then you've got RKO, July 20th. 2 shows, and then Wildwood Convention is the last of the shows recorded for Alive. You know, and then you're just doing 50th anniversaries every moment now for everything from 1975 on is a day-to-day 50th anniversary of something. 2 days from now will be the 50th anniversary of the first official date of the Dress to Kill tour. And where was that? Saginaw? It was I don't know, but everything's an anniversary when you're old. Every day above ground's a party.
Yeah.
So thank you, Gene.
Yeah. It's just wild to we're here to see this stuff or do this stuff, you know? You know, it's just, I mean, people are asking me, you know, everybody was talking their stories, you know, what was your first album? I was this and that and everything else. And it was just fun. You know what I mean? It was no stress. It was just chill out. Everybody was chill. There wasn't like, even that too, man. I got to say that everybody was very cool there. It wasn't like, hate to say it, like the Kiss Cruise where everybody just swamped. Everybody was cool until it was not cool. You know what I mean? Everybody was very mellow at the Dress to Kill, you know, at the pole there. Everybody was wicked mellow and just lined up and just said, hey, can you line up here? And go. It was all good. And then people ask, who was first? And I'm like, they were first, second, third, and, you know, and everybody was kosher. You know what I mean? And that was cool. That was
how it should be.
Yeah, it should be that way, but we know can get nuts because we're all nuts.
You know, hey, we're ending a podcast episode basically singing Kumbaya Kiss Army. So how awesome is that?
Yeah, it's wicked awesome.
Smiles and positive vibes is what it needs to be about. And again, good job to those who put on something special in New York City for the 50th anniversary of Dress to Kill.
Yes.
Obviously, that's one guy out there with positive vibes and a happy smile from a Kiss event, and you can't buy that.
Hey, I don't care if I was the only one there.
Exactly. All right, Andy. Thanks so much for sharing your firsthand account and being a part of the show as always. And take care.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.